I'm Katelyn Mattson, and this is the Green Room. Every year, Wichita State University auditions their musical students, their music majors, and the winners are then selected to perform with the Wichita State University Symphony Orchestra. It's a concert titled the Concerto Aria Concert, and sometimes it's called the Winners Concert, the Honors Concert, but they are featured with the symphony. And I have four of the winners joining me today. Um, we have oboist Grace Stringfellow, we have pianist Ann Yap Eishwin, and we have soprano Josephine Barstad. Thank you so much for being here, all three of you. And we have a lot of ground to cover because I'm quite interested in each of your stories and not only some personal information, but also your insights into the pieces you're performing. Let's start off with Grace. Grace Stringfellow, you start off the concert, which is next Tuesday evening, the 13th of February at 7:30 in Miller Concert Hall. Tell us, Grace, what are you performing?
I am playing the first movement of the Strauss Oboe Concerto.
That is Richard Strauss's Oboe Concerto.
Yes.
Is this a piece of music that you've performed before in public, I should say?
No, this is my first time working on this particular concerto. I found it because the first recording I ever heard of my undergraduate professor was a combined album of the David Mulliken Oboe Concerto from 1999, and then the Richard Strauss. And the best thing about this is that I get to play. I've played the other one a couple years ago. I played the Mulliken Concerto, and now I'm playing the Strauss, so it feels like it's really full circle. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how many musicians have a story of an album that they listened to when they were younger? And there was something on the album, and they go, one day I have to perform that. I am so in love with this music. One day I'm going to perform that. And then, don't you know it? Fast forward 4 or 5 years, and you are. Uh, let's talk about your experience performing with a symphony orchestra. Now, music students don't often have the ability to perform with a full symphony orchestra. If you perform, a lot of times it's with your accompanist, your pianist, your collaborative pianist. Have you performed with symphony orchestra as a solo before?
Yes, almost exactly 2 years ago, it will be 2 years ago tomorrow, that I performed with an orchestra for the first time as a soloist, and that was with the Mulliken Concerto. So,
It's kind of a first full circle moment there.
yes, absolutely.
Our pianist, Anne, you're performing something that's going to make a lot of people really happy.
Yes, the Rachmaninoff Second Piano Concerto.
Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto. What movement?
The first movement.
Now Rachmaninoff, I feel like even the most amateur of classical music lover will recognize not only the piece, but also that Rachmaninoff's piano works are demanding, that if you're going to be performing one, it means you're pretty darn good at what you do. Can you talk through the preparation for performing one of Rachmaninoff's piano concertos? How long have you been working on it? When did you first open the score?
Um, yes, it is a very difficult work, but I started working on it last summer. I went home to Malaysia for the first time since I came to the US, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have fun, enjoying my holiday, but I also need to start learning the piece because it's so hard. So I just looked at it little by little every day, and then eventually it all came together.
In these final days, weeks leading up to a performance like this, and how many hours a day are you in the practice room?
Oh. Basically, when I'm not accompanying someone in their lessons, or when I'm not rehearsing, or when I'm not teaching, I'm always in the practice room. So I would say about like 4 to 5 hours of practice a day.
Yeah. And you mentioned you work as a student accompanist, a staff accompanist. Do you accompany vocal students or instrumentalists or a little bit of both?
I accompany a majority of vocal students, but I also accompany some instrumentalists. And I'm a GTA at WSU, so I teach class piano and some private piano students as well.
Oh, I love that. And how long have you been in the States? You mentioned Malaysia, born and raised, and you came to the States for college. How many years ago was that?
I came in 2020, right
Oh
before
my goodness,
COVID
what
happened.
a year to come to,
Yes.
what a year to travel away from home. How did you navigate that?
So when I came, it was in January. It hasn't really started
Oh my
yet.
goodness.
And then 3 months in, school had to shut down and everything went on Zoom.
Oh, and I feel for you. Did you know anybody in Wichita before you traveled here to live a month before the pandemic shut down the world?
Well, I only knew my piano professor, Dr. Julie Bees, because I
Hmm.
met her in Malaysia the year before I came. So at least there was someone that I knew. But
Yeah,
people here are very nice, and I got comfortable pretty quickly.
yeah. We have a soprano soloist on the concert as well, soprano Josephine Barstadt. You are from the north,
Yep, from all the way up in Minnesota.
Minnesota. We were laughing off the air because her last name, Barstadt, I wanted to pronounce it Barstadt or, something, I don't know, something foreign, something a little bit sexier. She's like, nope, it's from Minnesota. It's Barstadt.
Barstad. You're not the first or only one who has wanted to pronounce it Barstadt. So
What are you performing?
I am performing Come Scoglio from Così fan tutte by Mozart.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah.
It was a when I started learning it, it was definitely a stretch piece.
But now,
Now it's one of my favorite. I go in everywhere with it.
would you kind of talk us through the mental process of selecting one piece of music to audition with, one or just two for a competition, or something like this? You're auditioning to perform with a symphony orchestra. You have to choose just one piece of music. What do you choose? What's your reasoning for this particular piece?
Well, it was a really hard choice. I'm usually a more legato girly. So picking something that was a little bit outside of my comfort zone, I discussed with my teacher, Dr. Castaldi, uh, for a while.
Hmm.
And yeah, we just decided to pick something that showed off everything that I could do because it's extremely rangy. It does require legato. It requires that like pinpoint Mozart like
Yeah.
core
Clarity.
sound. Yeah, and
Yeah.
clarity. And it also has to show off the flexibility in the movement.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of encompassing everything that I've learned in the last 2 years.
We'll be back in just a couple of minutes to talk more with Anne, Josephine, and Grace all about the Concerto Aria competition concert, which is Tuesday evening at 7:30 in Miller Concert Hall. Now, the orchestra, of course, is also featured on the concert. One of the pieces they are playing is Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov, Capriccio Espagnol. Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov's Capriccio Espagnol, which closes the Wichita State University Symphony Orchestra concert. That is Tuesday, February the 13th at 7:30 in Miller Concert Hall. This concert features the winner of the Wichita State University Concerto Aria competition. I have three of the winners with me, but first I want to actually give a complete list of who is performing. So we have Grace Stringfellow, oboist, performing one movement of Richard Strauss's Concerto for Oboe and Small Orchestra. We have violinist Arya Beert performing a movement of Wieniawski's Violin Concerto No. 2. Cellist Carla Lugo performing the opening of Sir Edward Elgar's Cello Concerto. Hooray for that. We have Anne Yap Ishwin, who's performing the first movement of Rachmaninoff's second piano concerto. Uh, Soprano Josephine Barstadt performing Como Scoglio from Così fan tutte by Mozart. And finally, Luis Gomez performing Oscar Navarro's second concerto for clarinet. It's a wonderful list of musicians. If you can get there and support, their efforts. And of course, it's just going to be a wonderful concert. Now, I have three of the soloists with me in the green room. Uh, I would like to ask Grace. Grace's name certainly was familiar. And then when I was looking over your bio, I realized, well, Grace is in the Wichita Symphony Orchestra. So your name's in that program. Tell us a bit about your time playing at Wichita and other professional symphonies you play in?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have absolutely loved my time here in Wichita. It's a very amazing program that the School of Music here sets up for its graduate students to get to have performance experience with the Wichita Symphony. Um, Everyone that plays there is super kind and supportive and encouraging. And I've gotten to play some of my bucket list repertoire while being here, and feel that I've really grown as a player. And I have been playing with the Boise Philharmonic. This will be my third season with them. I took a gap year after I graduated undergrad and won the audition in September of 2021. And so I love it up there. I travel once or twice a month, and the school lets me do it, which is really kind of them. And then I get to play with some wonderful colleagues up there. So I feel like I'm living the dream.
That's so fantastic. Um, and Josephine, you're a master's student. Is this your first or second year?
This is my second year.
Where are you off to next?
Um, that's a good question. I believe my partner and I will be moving back up to Minnesota to settle down in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area so that we can be close to a very artistic city and just forge, trailblaze, forge our own
Yes.
paths.
Yes, as you should. And you're right, the Twin Cities, such a vibrant arts scene and just so many opportunities.
Yes.
That's so great. And you have one more year of your master's here in Wichita, is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Well, I have to say that us here in Kansas, we're happy about that. We're happy to keep you for one more year. What are your plans when you graduate? Do you have thoughts about where you'll go next?
Yes, I plan to continue with my doctorate studies and try to auditions to some schools, hopefully to get into some of them.
I think that's so wonderful. Thank you, all three of you, for joining me today. I'm excited for all of you to have the opportunity to perform with the symphony orchestra on Tuesday night. Um, there's a lot going on the next few days. I would really quickly like to plug the opera department, who has a performance of opera scenes tonight. Josephine, are you taking part in that?
Yes, I am. I am doing a Fledermaus trio. I will be playing Rosalinda.
Fantastic. And although the concert is sold out, Grace, are you going to be there playing tomorrow night at the symphony concert?
Yes, I will be.
Fantastic. Um, well, thank you all so much for joining me, and best of luck next week. Have a wonderful concert.
Thank you.
Thank you.